All right. Hey, guys, welcome back. Combat Insiders Live. It's been a minute. It's been a while. We're back. I am Joshua Furs. Don't forget to check out combatinsiders.com. We are the leading coverage for bare knuckle. So don't forget to check that out. We got BKFC 11 coming up on the horizon in just less than a week. So around this time next Saturday, these guys are going to be towing the line. Pumped for that. And we also have some huge BKFC 12 announcements to talk about later. Mark Gabier versus Joey Beltran. That got announced today, too. Yesterday, Lieben versus Marcel Stamps. That's going to be a banger. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Not a whole lot of time to talk about it. We got a big show today. Josh Burns, Sam Shoemaker, Jim Alers. We got Dakota Cochran, Christine Ferea, Joey Beltran, Harris Stevenson, Nico Hernandez, all on the docket for today. So huge show. And I guess without further ado, we're going to meet the big man himself, Mr. Josh Burns. Mr. Josh Burns, what's up, my man?
What's going on, brother? You good?
Hey, man, we are doing incredible. Like I was saying, huge card coming up in just a week. Before we get to your fight next week, man, and we kind of touched on it just a second before we went live here. You've done you're not new to bare knuckle, right? You did the Bellator thing. You're in BKB. Why now? Like, why the transition to BKFC? What has kind of brought you to this point?
Well, last almost 4 years, I've been fighting BKB in Europe, and wanted to be one of the first American. Well, I was the first American heavyweight to get on the scene. I saw that it was picking up momentum and traction, and I've always wanted to fight for Dave before Dave even got started a few years back. The reason I went to BKB is because they had a little bit of a slower start. I got locked into a contract at BKB and took my talents there, got my feet wet in the industry, and it's always good to come back home and fight stateside. I mean, this is the real big market. This is the big show. So that's an honor to be back.
Yeah, it really feels like obviously it's been over, in the UK for a while, and people, I guess, can argue whether bare knuckle really has ever left. It's been in the underground for a long time, but really it's starting to pick up in the mainstream and really in the combat sports mainstream world, especially with BKFC, with Valor, and then a couple other ones that are really on the rise. But I guess, man, what made you switch to bare knuckle in the first place?
To be honest with you, I mean, if you watch any of my MMA fights, I mean, I've fought, a lot of top tier guys, and I'm more of a stand-up guy. I mean, I wrestled in college, and, I can grapple, but nobody wants to see that. People want to see people bang. And when you get in there with heavyweights and you can actually bang, they immediately turn to ties, clenches. They want to go to the ground. They don't want to stand. So this just seemed, my boxing coach just said, this is a natural transition for me because they're going to have to stand and bang. And, BKFC actually really favors it because it allows the inside clinching. It allows you to dirty box more. And, it's just right up my alley.
Scott Farley says, great addition to the BKFC. And I 100% agree with Mr. Scott over there. So it's the Hammer versus the Hillbilly Hammer.
Right.
Sam Shoemaker. Interesting. It's interesting. Interesting names for this fight, man. Hammer versus Hammer. I've known Sam for a while. I've been covering him for a while. Why this fight? Why Sam Shoemaker? Was there anybody else really, in line for this, or was it just this is what they offered you? It is what it is.
I've known Dave for a while, and he just goes, he asked me, he says, do you have a problem fighting anyone? He goes, do you have anybody in mind? And for me, I want to fight the top guys they have. I want to get back up to the top. I was at the top over in BKB and overseas. So for me, there's a little bit of, it's not bad blood with Sam, but, that definitely have some initiative to want to fight him. Just he thought Eric Prendo was pretty much a brother to me. And it can happen. We're heavyweights, one punch get in today, and that's what happened. So, definitely wanting to get in there and have a little fun and bring a little back for Prendel. And, he's actually fought a few of my boys. He fought Maurice Jackson, who's knocked him down a few times. He fought my boy Kinsey Morrison, and Kinsey actually kind of really beat him up pretty good with gloves on about 6 months ago. So it's just, logical thing. That's who Dave threw at me, and immediately, as soon as he threw his name out there, I was, hell yeah, let's get that going. 2 big bangers, and we'll put a show on.
So, I mean, would you say it's? I guess you're maybe a little personal. Would you say personal?
Absolutely. I mean, every fight's going to be personal. I mean, he's going to step in that ring because he thinks he can beat me. So that's always personal. If you're gonna step in that ring with me, you're not doing it because you think I'm going to beat you. You're doing it because you think you're going to beat my ass. So I'm going to turn around and return the favor. And I know for a fact. I mean, I know everybody. Kenzie's probably the only guy close to stylistically that I am, and I watched what Kenzie did to him with 10-ounce gloves. So no disrespect to him, but at the end of the day, a fight's a fight. So I think he's going to feel more pressure, more power than he's felt before. We're going to see what happens.
And we were also touching on, with the announcement of Mark Godbeer signing on to BKFC, with you being the addition to the heavyweight division. I tell you what, man, I'm excited. The division's getting deeper. You guys are 2 huge names for this. Where do you see? I guess what do you want to do with this? Like, what do you want to do with the heavyweight division? Where do you want to be? 6 months down the road in BKFC.
But I definitely want to be. I mean, 6 months down the road, definitely want to be in title contention. I think taking Sam out in impressive fashion is going to do that. Mark and I are actually good friends. He's a hell of a fighter, and it'd be an honor, to share the ring with him. I honestly, in my opinion, I don't know Joey personally, but I've seen him fight. I think that favors Mark in that fight. I think Mark takes it pretty easily, and I would like to be the next guy, if not the second guy, to join Mark in the cage or the ring and see how that goes. I mean, that anybody's game, but we're both big punchers, we're both pressure fighters. It'd be a hell of a fight for all the fans, and Mark and I got nothing but respect for each other, but we're both going to try to kill each other.
It's interesting because we were talking about it and how this title fight coming up in April with him and Joey. It's interesting, right? Because not only is it a huge fight in itself, right? Joey Beltran, Mark Godbeer. It's a huge fight anywhere, right? But you got, he's the BKB heavyweight champion. He's the current Valor heavyweight champion. Beltran is the BKFC heavyweight champion. He's also the Police Gazette world heavyweight champion. So essentially, this is the unofficial, undisputed heavyweight champion. Somebody's gonna, even though Mark's belts obviously aren't on the line, but this is he said something in an interview I did with him today. He said that in his mind, if he loses this, it's essentially like he's losing the other belts too. This is really for all the marbles. I mean, I think the heavyweight division in bare knuckle, I think it's about to blow up with y'all's fight next weekend, with this fight coming up. Some really exciting stuff on the horizon, man. So you're saying, let's just say, let's play matchmaker here. You get through Shoemaker, he gets through Beltran. You'd fight your buddy hands down.
Oh, hands down, because it's nothing but respect. And, we've talked about this many times. We might be crossing knuckles at some point. And until that time, hey, we're going to be boys up to the point. We're going to bang it out in the cage and then be boys, buy them a pint when we get out. So as we say, the winner buys the beer.
There you go. So how long has it been in the works for you to, I know you said you've been talking to Fulmer for a while, but I mean, when did you know for sure you're going to be on this card in Wichita, which is also historical in itself? It's the first, legally sanctioned bare knuckle card, full card. They had a bare knuckle fight a few months ago, but the first full card in Kansas, I mean, that's history in itself. I mean, how special is that to you?
No, it's amazing. It's awesome. And, it's nice to be back on the big show where we actually have a governing body. That's probably the big thing that the BKB's downside is, that they do not have a governing body overseeing their fights. It's still kind of Wild West over there. They kind of call their own shots, do their own things. And here, it's actually regulated. You have a commission and a governing body over the top of you. So that's always a great comfort, to know that it's done professionally from beginning to end. So absolutely.
Would you like to see, because they're talking about in May, they're talking about having like a, I don't know the exact extent of it, but they're talking about having like a commission meeting in May in Kansas, possibly setting like a standard, maybe even like a standard that other states can follow for bare knuckle, and possibly see more states start to implement it. Because right now, it's just a handful right now. But I mean, do you think that bare knuckle is eventually going to be as widely accepted as MMA is today? You think
I absolutely, yeah, no, I absolutely do. And I believe regulations is where it starts. So once we can get a standardized regulation across the board for every state to follow that they can agree upon, just like the Nevada Athletic Commission, they pretty much are the bears, the gold mark for everyone to follow. Same ideology for, bare knuckle. Once we do that, and UFC's tough. A lot of my boys are fighting in UFC, but it's watered down. I mean, now it's not that it's not a great deal to get on the UFC, but I mean, I see guys that, getting on the UFC just because, hey, now they're fillers or this and that. So, it's still with the bare knuckle fights, you still select few. And trust me, I've seen the top tier fighters get in there. This is a whole different style of fighting because even with MMA gloves, you get hit, you really don't feel it. I mean, you got to really get cracked to feel it. With bare knuckle, I mean, the first jab, you feel it. No matter the endorphins, the adrenaline, you feel the very first punch. And then it becomes a heart check. How much you really want this? How much do you want that payday? How much do you really want to stand there and take this punishment? Because I would say probably 80% of these fights end in cuts. Every fight, I mean, I'm 8-3, and all 8 of my wins, I've come out with black eyes, cuts, like regardless. Even if I've knocked a guy out in the first round, the first minute and a half, it's still, I get banged up. So this is a true, gut check sport. It's not just talk. You got to actually show up and fight. So I think it's going to definitely, Dave Feldman says, when you hear that sound right there, it's not something you hear. Granted, you got elbows in MMA, but not many people throw them. And when they do, they're not as crisp. I mean, this, no matter what, everything you throw is this. So, people are going to turn in for that.
With you stepping into the BKFC ring, there's a slight different rule set than from BKB and even Valor, in that half clinch, the half plum clinch is allowed, and you can hold on and
absolutely
uppercut away, and then the 2-minute rounds. I mean, do you think is that advantageous to you? Like, do you think that gives you an advantage?
I mean, in my opinion, yeah, basic physics. I mean, if you're a tall, long guy, you want to stay outside and fight. I fought for the world title in London, lost to Mickey Terrell, probably the toughest guy I've ever fought. Not the hardest puncher, but the most technical, fast foot guy. And he just peppered me from outside, moving around. They allow you to get inside. You start within a foot from one another. You're going to have to bang. And the ties, I mean, I'm shorter arms. So I'm an inside pressure fighter. It 100% favors my style of fighting. My opinion, it favors my style of fighting. These tall, long guys, for them to get that power, I mean, look what Sam did to Eric. I mean, as he says, his baseball throw that he incorporates in that big right hand. Well, you're going to have to be outside to wind that bad boy up to get it. So, but again, if he gets that, I welcome that punch because, I love Eric, but I'm not Eric. So go ahead and hit me. We'll see what happens. So.
How does it go down next Saturday between you and Sam?
My opinion is that it's going to be a high-paced fight. I believe I'm either get him to quit, knock him out, or if he goes all 5 rounds, God bless him. But it's going to be a hard 5 rounds for him.
All right, my man, Josh the Hammer Burns. Check him out against Sam Shoemaker next weekend, BKFC 11. It's going to be in Wichita, Kansas. For those of you who are local, go check it out. It's also on Fight TV and pay-per-view. Don't miss it. Battle of the Big Man, Hammer versus Hammer, is what I like to call this. And Mr. Burns, we appreciate your time, my man. I know it's short notice, and like I said, we just appreciate you so much, and I wish you all the best of luck.
All right, bro. Appreciate it, man. Later.
Right, have a good one.
You.
All right, that was Mr. Josh Burns. We got Mr. Sam Shoemaker on the docket here any second. Just waiting for him to finish logging in. Oddly enough, his opponent got him back-to-back here, so we're just waiting on Mr. Sam Shoemaker. I'm excited for this fight, man. To see, I mean, 2 heavyweights already. When it's 2 heavyweights, whether it's MMA or boxing, it always just kind of gives it a I don't know what it is. It just always kind of has an aura to it. It always has, right? Ever since, Mike Tyson days. It just always kind of has that aura to the heavyweight division. And bare knuckle, you see two big boys go in there bare knuckle, and they're swinging the kill. That's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole nother ball game. I mean, in the hammer versus. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Like, how crazy is that? Hammer versus hammer. Like, you don't have to put anything else. You hear that? Holy shit! I've got to see this. I've really got to see it. You know, and both these guys are super experienced, especially in bare knuckle too. I mean, Sam, he's got 5 fights under his belt. Josh Burns has a bunch of fights from BKB over in the UK. So you got 2 seasoned bare knuckle guys going in there and throwing down, and it's. I can't wait, man. I can't wait for this card. I say that every time, but I really can't. I can't wait for this card. BKFC 11 next Saturday, March 14th in Wichita. We're just going to give a check here, waiting for Mr. Sam Shoemaker, the Hillbilly Hammer. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Bear with me 1 second. Hey, this is the it is what it is for live shows, right? We're just waiting on him. Seems like some technical difficulties. Yeah, man, I mean, bare knuckle is already dangerous as it is, right? Like, if for those of you who have never seen a bare knuckle fight, whether in person or on TV or whatever, it's different. And I try to explain this to people, and there's no other way to. You just have to see it, right? It can change in the drop of a hat, right? The tide of the fight can change just in a drop. In an instant, the tide can change. People get finished left and right. I mean, I would probably say there's more finishes. I've seen entire cards just go to finish, not a single decision on a card. I feel like that happens more often than not. You know, it's exciting, it's fast paced, and like I said, when you get the 2 big boys in there, you get the 2 heavyweights throwing down bare knuckle. Call an ambulance. call an ambulance. Call the hospital. Call somebody. Somebody's getting hurt. Somebody's getting busted up. I know, yeah. I'm right there with you. It's the most action of any combat sport. It really is. Like I said, guys, we're just holding up on Sam Shoemaker. He will be with us very shortly. Mr. Sam is up there in the country, so sometimes it takes him just a little bit longer. Our friends over at Guy Thing, definitely most action of any combat sport. Rawest form of fighting there is, 100%. If you're a fan of the stand up in mixed martial arts, right? How many people you hear when there's a wrestler and they're grappling around on the ground, even if it's like really good high level jiu-jitsu, which by the way, I'm a huge fan of. So I'm not one of those people, but you get the people that talk about lay and pray and this and that, or he's wrestle humping them or whatever whatever the hell it is these guys say. This is really made for those people, like those fans that don't like, sometimes the clinch work against the cage is slow and it's a little monotonous and it's not as exciting as 2 strikers going at it, or I get it, right? But some people just don't understand and they can't appreciate it, especially if they've never done it. A lot of people can't appreciate how grinding clinch work is against the cage, or laying on your back with somebody breathing down your neck on top of you. Like, sometimes people don't quite understand, so they just kind of, oh yeah, they're just laying on each other. Yeah, okay. Anyways, I digress. Bare knuckle is for those people. Bare knuckle is for those people that maybe can't stand the ground game. I mean, this is it. I don't know, and nobody's paying me to say this, right? I don't have a check in the mail because I mean, that'd be nice, but I don't have a check in the mail, you know. I love MMA. I'm a huge MMA fan, but this is bare knuckle is for those fans. Like, time to come over and check it out. You know, and people talk about it's too brutal. People talk about it's too this or it's too that. I don't know, man. I Yeah, there's more blood than maybe some boxing fights or some MMA fights. You might see some more blood. You might see some more surface cuts. You might see some more, excuse me, some more broken hands, maybe more, facial swelling, things like that, things that are more superficial. And anybody that's involved in the sport will tell you the exact same things I'm telling you. So I'm not just pulling this out of where. They're superficial. But in terms of long term damage, and hey, this might shock you, it's safer than boxing. Probably safer than MMA. Because you don't get that, especially with boxing, you don't get the repetitive damage, the repetitive damage to the brain. You don't get that because you can't punch as hard as you can with a pair of gloves on. You can't do it. Otherwise, you're breaking your hand in the first couple shots. There's distinct ways to punch. And I'm no expert in that, by the way, but I've talked to a lot of people who I would proclaim to be experts, and they all tell me the same thing. They all tell me the same thing. I don't know. I just it's crazy to think about. It's just crazy to think about why some of these people aren't crossing over yet. I really I don't get it. I really don't get it. But I mean, boxing fans, right? If you're a pure boxing fan, yeah, hey, the sweet science, right? Like a Floyd Mayweather, that defensive style. It's not. It's not. I don't think it's appealing to the masses. It's kind of boring. It's impressive, right? It's slick, but in terms of for the camera, TV viewers, it's not. And that's not a knock on somebody like Floyd and that style. It's not a knock on him, but it's the way it is. It's just the way it is. Uh, Guys, once again, we're waiting on Mr. Hillbilly Hammer. Um, we do have Jim Ellers coming up next at 8 p.m. I was hoping for. There we go. Sam, I think Sam is having some. Sam is having some issues. Sorry, guys. Live stream. What can you do? It is what it is. It happens. Um, Rest of the lineup. Yeah, he's having some technical difficulties here. My apologies, Mr. Shoemaker. I'm a one man show. What can you do? Trying to work the phone, work the messenger, mess with this. Um, Trying to get the link to work. All right, guys, bear with us. Some technical difficulties on Mr. Shoemaker's part. We're trying to get him in, trying to get him in the stream. We have Jim Ellers coming on at 8 o'clock. Then we got Dakota Cochran coming up after that. We have Christine Ferea coming up after Dakota Cochran. We have Joey Beltran, Harris Stevenson, and then Mr. Nico Hernandez. So we got those coming up for you. Huge show next weekend for BKFC 11. Huge announcements today. yesterday for Godbeer versus Beltran, Marcel Stantz versus Chris Lieben. When I saw the announcement, and I know this sounds crazy, right? Might sound cheesy or cliche or something, but I mean it 110%. I had been, excited ever since I saw Mark Godbeer like post about him wanting to fight Beltran. And I'm just like, oh my God, that would be insane. And here it is. We finally get the announcement. The hair, we got an interview that's going to be dropping. I was talking to Mark Godbeer earlier today, actually, and I don't know. It'll probably drop in a couple days. It's so good. Talking about what led him to BKFC and this fight with Beltran and how important it is to him. If you're a fan of Bare Knuckle, if you're a fan of Mark Godbeer, if you're a fan of BKFC, you're gonna want to see this interview. It really is good. I mean, and it was just full of energy, man. Like I told him, and I was legit 100% telling the truth. Like my hairs were standing up on my arm. That's how excited I was. That's how excited I still am for this fight. I mean, it doesn't. You're talking the historical significance. And we'll talk more about this with Joey Beltran when he comes on. He's the other half of that fight, but the historical significance of Beltran versus Godbeer. Arguably the undisputed bare knuckle heavyweight champion. Yeah, Godbeer's belts aren't on the line, but come on. You're arguably, the upper echelon of organizations. I put BKFC. It's right now. It's tip top. BKB has been around for a while. They've got a really good organization. So you got that heavyweight title. It's got lineage behind it. You got Valor. They've had the one show, but they've had a lot of top tier guys that was in that tournament. And then you got the BKFC heavyweight title, excuse me. And then, of course, you've got the creme de la creme, the Police Gazette World Heavyweight title. Whew. Whew. So, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Because it really doesn't get, I don't think it gets much better than that. It's gonna be huge. I mean, think about how long bare knuckle, right? The history of it with the John L. Sullivans, the entire history of this, and here we are, 2020. Fast forward. If you're a sucker for history, if you're a sucker for bare knuckle, if you're a sucker for combat sports, it's got to make your hair stand up. It really does. Guys, there's quite a few of you joining in. We're waiting on Mr. Sam Shoemaker. I think he's having some technical difficulties here. So there's a delay with him. Jim Alers should be coming up any moment. We got him at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully he'll be signing on any second. Then we have, again, I'll go through the roster here real quick. Dakota Cochran coming up after that. Christine Ferea. She's going to be fighting Helen Peralta at BKFC 11. We got Joey Beltran. Was just talking about him. He's going to be fighting Mark Godbeer at BKFC 12. That was just announced. We got Harris Stevenson. He's taking a short notice fight against David Caveman Rickles, another Bellator MMA veteran. That last minute fight. And then, of course, 2016 Olympic bronze medalist, Mr. Nico Hernandez, is going to be joining us right at the towards the end of the show there. He's going to close us out. I'm excited, man. Nico's something else too, man. That's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see somebody with Nico's caliber and his pedigree in bare knuckle, right? Because he was known for being an aggressive boxer, not so much that you know, again, like I was talking about that Mayweather defensive style, shell style. It's not like that. He's very aggressive, very fast. I think it'll translate well. I know one of the big things a lot of these guys talk about is reach. You know, transitioning from glove boxing to bare knuckle, because you're talking what, that much that much of a difference here. So it's like that right at that. They say like they're barely missing people, especially in practice and in their first fight. Like they're just like right there. I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Nico. I'm excited to see what he does. I mean, he's undefeated in boxing. He's got the IBA World Flyweight title. He's gonna be fighting Chancey Wilson, the MMA guy. I mean, the big thing, and we talked about this. I talked about this when Paulie fought Artem. The biggest thing I think for a traditional boxer to come into BKFC is going to be getting used to the clinch, right? Because it's something like that half plum clinch. You're talking about MMA guys coming over. That's kind of their world, right? That dirty boxing style. That's that's a world that you're not used to. It's something. I mean, maybe he can avoid it. I don't know. I know when Paulie trained for Artem, you're not going to become a master at clinching in how 4 months, 5 months, however long he trained, 3 months. I don't know however long he trained for that fight, but he was pretty good at moving out the way of it and avoiding it. That's how he kind of stayed away. Guys, I'm waiting on Jim Ellers. He's supposed to be popping up any seconds. Bear with me, guys. Jim Ellers, waiting on him. See, we got again Dakota Cochran, Christine Ferea, Joey Beltran, Harris Stevenson, Nico Hernandez. I see a lot of you kind of in and out, so that's why you'll probably hear me repeat kind of the same thing. But I don't know, man. What's going on? A UFC 248 is tonight. As Adesanya versus Romero. I'm pretty pumped about that. I'm just reading some of the comments. Who you guys got in that? Who you guys got in that UFC 248? Come on, man. Give me some participation. Give me some participation here. I think. I mean, I guess I could start. I'll give my prediction on that. I think Yoel Romero. Obviously, he's the strong wrestling background, and he's got hands of stone against Israel Adesanya, and obviously Israel Adesanya. He's been on just a tear, right? He's so confident right now. He's starting to get that aura of, I don't want to say invincibility. Nobody's invincible, but he's just starting to get that aura about him, right? The more he wins, and the more he wins, the more he wins. Like he's really something special. And let's face, kind of has that it factor. He can talk, right? He can fight. He knows how to market himself. I mean, he's got all of the. If you had a checklist for what it takes to be a top MMA star, Adesanya checks. He's all those check marks, right? He doesn't. He seems like he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders. You never hear about Adesanya getting the drugs, or you never hear about him, staying up in nightclubs or wrecking his cars, or you never hear anything about that. Not to say it doesn't happen. I don't know, but you don't hear anything. Zhang too. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I love that fight too. Maybe even more. I might even like the Joanna fight even more. But yeah, I don't know. I think this fight's probably going to go to decision with Romero and Adesanya. I think it probably goes to decision. I think it's going to go to Israel because he's good with his kickboxing background. I think people forget of how good he is. He knows how to win by points, right? I don't think he's going to knock out Yoel. I don't because I mean Yoel's tough. Yoel's tough. I don't think he's going to knock out Yoel. That's just not going to happen. But I think he could probably get the job done winning by points. That's that's my prediction. Adesanya, Adesanya by decision against Romero. That's my prediction on that. With Joanna and Zhang, oh my God, that's when they had the stare down at the media day a couple days ago, and and told Joanna to shut up. God, it's so interesting, man. But I mean, Joanna hasn't really been the same. Joanna hasn't been the same since she lost the belt, since she lost the Rose. Or maybe it's just that she was at the top of that division, and now it's like maybe like the talent has caught up to the rest of the roster. Or maybe she's lost that step, she's lost that confidence because she lost the Rose. You see a lot of these guys. Anderson Silva's another example. Once he lost to Weidman, he just it's like he lost a step. Howie. Yeah, that would have been cool. I tell you what, yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Mark Godbeer and Joey Beltran. I don't want to rehash myself, but I mean, my God, I'm very excited for this. I can't even. I don't know if I could express how excited I am. I'm glad too. I'm glad Dave and heck, and Mark, and you guys will see this interview later. Um, I'll have it up in a couple days. The interview I did with Mark Godbeer earlier today. He gave props to Valley. He said, "Hey, these guys let me out of the contract. I don't know. I don't know if they had to or not, but they didn't give him a hard time because they knew they were holding them up because I know they're dealing with whatever situation Valor's going through. I won't pretend to know. I have no idea. I've heard they're going through like a restructuring process, and um, you know, I don't know. I won't pretend to assume, but I mean, there's something going on. I mean, that's all we know for sure. There's something going on over there, and they knew they were going to hold him up from possibly taking another big fight in bare knuckle, and boom, got this agreement, multi-fight deal. That's right out of the horse's mouth. I can't wait, man. I'm hopefully this is gonna be a long term home for God Beer. I think this, I mean, just suits him right down to the core. I really do. And hopefully these guys, like I said, the heavyweight division it's always just brought that ore, like in boxing, and I mean especially in boxing, MMA too, but just heavy, right? Like the heavyweight champ is the baddest man on the planet. That's just we've always associated the heavyweights being the baddest, and they've always been the I mean, not always, but they've been exciting to watch for a long time, off and on for a long time. I know the boxing team is kind of, it's kind of got a resurgence again with Wilder and Fury and Joshua and all those guys. So, it's got a recent resurgence in the last few years, but just or the heavyweight division. I think it's going to be the same thing in bare knuckle. Yeah, I agree, Howie. And I said this. I was talking to somebody about this. I won't say who, but I think no matter what, right? This fight, whether and I don't have a horse in the race, right? I wish good luck to Joey and to Godbeer, right? I don't have a horse in the race. I just want to see a good fight, which I'm very confident these guys are both going to bring their A games. You know, they understand those high. They've been in those high pressure situations. They understand being in that type of spotlight. I have full confidence that they're both going to bring their A game. And as I was saying, I think this fight, in terms of, I think just not even just for the brand of BKFC, which it will enhance it, but for the sport of bare knuckle, with the lineage between, Mark's two belts, uh, especially the BKB with the lineage, and then of course, Valor. There's only the one show, but bringing all this together. I know his two belts aren't on the line. I get that. Before somebody corrects me, I understand that. But I mean, it's an undisputed title in my eyes. I think it's the unofficial, undisputed heavyweight boxing champion. Unofficial, but that's what it is. And I think these two guys understand that. They understand that. And push this fight to the moon, man. Push this fight to the moon. Guys, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm We had some technical difficulties with Mr. Shoemaker, waiting on Jim Ellers here. Um, Hopefully the next one is a go, which is Mr. Dakota Cochran. He'll be coming up shortly. So got him for 8:20. So just a few minutes he'll be signing on. Hopefully no technical difficulties here. True super fight. Yeah. I mean, there's a million things you call it. Super fight. I think it's a true super fight. Is it going to have the mainstream media appeal of the Paulie and Artem have? No. But I think it will deliver more for the sport, and I think ultimately for the company. I do. I think Godbeer Beltran is going to deliver more. No knock. It's not a knock on Paulie or Artem or those guys they brought a lot of eyeballs to the show. They brought a lot of eyeballs to the promotion. They brought a lot of eyeballs to the card. It was great, you know. Um, it's not a knock on that. I think for the lineage these guys have in bare knuckle specifically, you're bringing something else to the table here. You're definitely bringing something else to the table. It'll super fight, yes. The it's a true super fight. I think in every sense of the word. I hope people can appreciate the historical significance of this fight. I hope. I know it's probably sound like a broken record. I know I do. Trust me, I know I do. But I think that's fair. I think super fight is fair. I think it's a very fair statement. I I can't wait. Heavyweight division starting to pick up. I get Josh Burns that we just talked to. He brings a lot to the game, brings a lot to the table. Mr. Sam Shoemaker, he brings a lot to the table. Sam Shoemaker got fastest knockout in BKFC history. Probably I don't know, maybe bare knuckle history. I don't know. I don't know. 18 seconds. Sam Shoemaker has a knockout 18 seconds. I know 100% it's a BKFC record. I mean, I know we're only on the 11th card coming up, but bare knuckle record as a whole, it's got to be up there. So Sam Shoemaker, he's no slouch, man. He's going to really present some problems. That's why I think that fight is it's interesting too. Burns and Shoemaker, it's interesting. You got two big boys that have loaded, no pun intended, have loaded hammers attached to their shoulders. It's an interesting fight. Interesting fight. I see some of you are just now tuning in. We appreciate you so much. Guys, if you're enjoying this, hopefully, it's hoping to have some more people here. They're coming. All right. So just bear with me. I appreciate your patience. I know some of you guys are holding up and they're the important people. I'm not, you guys don't want to hear me talk. We want to hear these guys talk. I understand that. But I appreciate you putting up with me for the last few minutes here. We had some technical difficulties. We're waiting. We're waiting Jim Alers. I don't know that it's going to happen. We got Dakota Cochran on the docket next. He should be coming up in the next couple minutes here. Then we got Christine Ferea after that. We got Joey Beltran after that. I can't wait to talk to him about this fight. I can't wait. Harris Stevenson, again, took the last minute fight against David Rickles at BKFC 11. Weeks notice, 2 weeks notice. And of course, Nico Hernandez, 2016 Olympic medalist, main eventing, BKFC 11 coming up next week. It's be an interesting conversation with him. Him transitioning over to bare knuckle. I'm really fascinated with this. Yeah, I agree, Howie. Yeah, BKFC is rapidly rising to the absolute. It is. Right now, it's set the bar. Like I said, there's BKB over in the UK. There's a couple other. There's BYB Extreme. They have a show tonight. They're trying to do their thing. But BKFC, right? It is the creme de la creme. It is. It's they are the real deal right now. They are the ones making the moves. And they're making waves in the bare knuckle community. They gotten some hate from these other promotions because they're making waves, right? They're doing their thing. Of course, you're going to have haters. That's expected. I don't know who said it, but if you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. There's so much truth to that. So much truth to that. If you don't have haters in what you're doing, you're probably not trying hard enough, to be honest. You're going to ruffle some feathers. And BKFC has come on the scene. They have done just that. They've ruffled some feathers. They're doing their thing. They're kicking ass. And here we are, 11 shows in, and they're tearing it up. Every time I talk about a bare knuckle card, I swear you could hear me on repeat. You could just put me on repeat, and I would probably say close to the same thing. I can't help it. I say the same thing. I mean, the going to a bare knuckle event, going to a BKFC event in person. I mean, there's nothing like it. There really is nothing like going to a BKFC event. There really isn't. Looks like we got Dakota Cochran just signing in here. We will bring him in. My man, there he is, Mr. Dakota Cochran. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Hey, man. We're just doing our thing. We had some technical difficulties with some of these other guests, so I am extremely pleased to see you made it alive. You made it okay.
Yeah, well, I've had some of those issues before, so I'm glad it's going good.
It happens. Live stream. What can you do? It is what it is.
Yeah.
So you versus Melvin Gillard, man. In about a week. So how did this fight come about, and how long have you known about it?
Fight came about. Well, I was supposed to fight Joey Angelo first, who's actually kind of a buddy. So that was going to be interesting. It's going to be a hell of a fight. Then he tore his bicep, and I guess Melvin Gillard stepped in, and shit, I was all about that fight. So hell yeah.
And I was trying to think, because Melvin, he usually fights at around like 155, 165, right? And you guys are fighting at 180?
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty comfortable with that weight, so it'll be good for me. I don't know if he's walking around heavy or he's lifting some weights or what the hell he's doing. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen him in person. I mean, I know he's a thick dude. So I mean, maybe that's just him. Maybe not cutting weight. I don't know. I mean, he's always been kind of a real thick dude. So maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not too far of a stretch for him. Yeah.
Well, I'm about the same. So short and fat, ready to throw fists.
I was going to ask you something else, but I'm gonna hold off on that one. So here we are now, man. You just you fought Johnny Hendricks, you cleaned him out. You had that war with Chris Lieben, which, by the way, Chris Lieben said you were the hardest. You hitting him was the hardest has ever been hit. That's a notch in itself. I mean, like, that's wrap it up. It's over. Chris Lieben says you were the hardest hit. The wars that man has been in. And here we are, another arguable MMA legend. I mean, Melvin Gillard, he's been around for a long time. Well, I mean, is this your role now? You called yourself before the Legend Killer. Is this your unofficial title, the Legend Killer? There it is. There it is. There it is. Well, I mean, what do you think about that moniker? I mean, is that something that do you feel like that adds any pressure to you every time they put you up against one of these guys, or do you just embrace it?
No, it's fun. It's I like the bigger name competition. It gives me a little bit of an extra edge. I want to try harder. I always perform better when I fight, tougher competition.
Yeah.
So, it's fun. Like a lot of my friends say that, so I just kind of went with it, and my family made this shirt for me. So why not?
I like it, man. I like the Legend Killer. What do you want to do, man? Like, as far as like in terms of bare knuckle BKFC, right now there isn't really a full title picture for that weight division. But what do you want to do? Would you like to see something set up to where you can kind of get to one of these tournaments? Right now they just wrapped up the 135 back in June. They're finishing up. They just started the 155. I mean, what would you like to see next? And I'm sure you'd love to throw your name in the hat in that.
Yeah, if there's a tournament, then Hell yeah, I'm always down to fight. So honestly, I just like to compete. I like to fight. I like to make money. So it really doesn't matter if I'm fighting for a belt. That's gonna be, that's just gonna be awesome. But if there's an interesting fight, I'm down for that too. I like the mix ups of Chris Lieben, and then I got Melvin Gillard. That's just a crazy mix up. So I like those.
Are you still doing a little bit of dabbling in MMA, or are you strictly bare knuckle right now?
Right now, I guess just bare knuckle. But if something comes up where an interesting MMA fight or organization wants me to fight for them, then yeah, I'll have to talk with the boss, David, and then we go from there. So I'm signed with BKFC, so yeah, I got to make sure that they're okay with it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I get that. So we were talking, man. I know your boy Derek. You were in town. We were in the same town last weekend. Sorry we didn't get a chance to catch up, by the way, but obviously things didn't go the way. But I mean, can you talk about it a little bit? Because it was awesome seeing him in there. He looked like he was having a good time, and then just it is what it is. But I mean, maybe talk about that a little bit. Talk about that experience, coming out to UFC Norfolk and all that.
Yeah, Derek, he's a killer, man. Like, there's his talent is way beyond anybody around it, and he's gonna compete with the best in the division. So he just has to get mentally ready and prepared, and once he has a full camp, and he'll be ready to rock and roll. So he went hard in the first, just like he always does, and he gave it all he had, and he kind of gassed out. So that won't happen the next time. We just talked about that last night. He was out here holding pads for me and shit. So we just talked about his game plan for his next fight and how we're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome, man. Like I said, it was awesome seeing him come out there. It's that crowd that they were getting behind him. So they were booing the other guy, Grant Dawson, right? They were booing him. They were cheering your boys. So that was pretty cool to see, man.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I mean, he missed weight by 3.5 pounds. So
right.
Derek taking it on short notice and making weight. That was
right.
You got to respect that.
What's I mean, what was it like for him, man? Because I know, like, that they say that experience kind of just overwhelms you, and with the UFC jitters, right, is whatever they call it. I mean, did you get that impression that he was just in the moment and just really collective and calm?
I was worried a little bit when we were first out. I could tell he was pretty jacked.
Yeah.
But he said he was pretty calm-minded, and he felt good in there. He just was trying so many. He was trying so many chokes and just burned his arms out.
Yeah.
But he felt pretty calm and not like overwhelmed. Like this UFC. He didn't have those kind of jitters, but I think he's definitely where he needs to be. And next time he'll be able to show that.
I've seen some people say, and I don't know what I think, where one of the guillotines he had him in, it almost looked like, I think probably Grant Dawson looked like maybe he was adjusting, and some people say that it looked like he tapped.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish they had more angles on it, because I think there's only one or two angles that they shown. I could kind of see both sides. It looked weird, but maybe he was just kind of like, maybe hand placement adjusting. But what were you guys thinking when you saw that? Did he feel like he tapped, or just?
Yeah, we had so many people reach out and say, "Oh, he tapped."
Yeah.
But we watched it again, and we seen he was either ready to tap or thought about it and just moved his hand, and we wouldn't have called that an actual tap. But
right.
There's a lot of people who thought it was a tap, and I actually did on the corner too. Our manager Train, he was squeezing my back so hard he thought he was gonna make him tap, and the fight was gonna be over. He was gonna get ready to jump up and be excited, but shit, he tried. He gave it all he had. He just next time.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Real quick, let me grab your predictions. UFC 248 tonight. We were just talking about it. Adesanya versus Romero and Zhang versus Joanna. Who you got? Who you got and why? Who do you got and why?
I'm gonna go with Israel. With his movement's gonna be the key. He's the other guy's a beast, but I think he's gonna be able to stay away from him. Keep picking his shots and moving. And it's hard to bet against Joanna. She's a freaking animal. But gosh, I'm so bad. This is why I don't bet on fights, because
these are both tough fights. I mean, they're not easy fights to bet on because, like you said, Romero's an animal, but then you have Adesanya, who's just growing phenom, right? Like I don't know. I think Adesanya takes that, but yeah, I think Zhang and Joanna, I think that's tough. Might even be a tougher than the main event. The tougher prediction for me.
Yeah, her warm-ups, Zhang's warm-up look clean, crisp, and like extremely powerful. So yeah. I was very impressed by that. We'll see if she can do it in the fight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting indeed.
MMA, you never know. Like anything can happen.
Yeah, 100%, brother. Well, Dakota, if Melvin was here right now, what would be some words you got for him? How's it going down?
How's it going down? Well, we're gonna go in there and throw some hands. Like I'm pretty friendly anytime, outside the cage or before the cage. But in the cage, you're it's game time. It's time to go to work, and it doesn't matter who you are, friend or foe. I'm gonna try to knock you out.
That's it, brother. All right, my man. Well, we appreciate your time. I know it's short notice getting you on here, but we appreciate it, brother. Dakota Cochran is going to be facing Melvin Gillard, BKFC 11. That's just next Saturday. So, guys, check your local listings. Doesn't that sound crazy? Check your local listings, pay-per-view and Fight TV. Go check it out. If you're local to Wichita, go check that out there too. You won't regret it. Big show, big card. Dakota, thanks a lot, my man. We always appreciate you, and good luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, brother. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Now we have Mr. Jim the Beast, the Bare Knuckle Beast, Alers, is popping on the show. Better late than never is what I always say. Jim, my man, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? Sorry, I'm at like a movie in the park thing, and I don't know if you could see it. Maybe not. I don't know. But
you're good, man.
I just walked away for a minute.
Well, we appreciate it, buddy. We appreciate you. Look, we didn't really get a chance to talk, after your last fight with Caleb Harris. I guess tell us, man, because I read that you thought that this was probably one of the toughest fights you ever had. It was a war. Nobody has gone past the second round with you. This went all the way. I mean, how did you think it was going to go going headed into the fight?
Honestly, I know he's a bigger guy coming down to 155. He has knockout power. He's shown it. Knockout of the year. But I thought, and I think it's kind of how it played out, that my just fighting experience came into factor. I didn't think it was going to go 5 rounds, but once you're hitting someone with everything and they're not falling down, you don't have any other way to finish the fight. You got to punch them still, and your hands are just done. It's either give up like a lot of these guys do, or dig deep and continue to fight, even though every punch is just hurting you like crazy, but that's what I did. I just kept going, and I thought I won pretty convincingly, but it was a tough fight for sure. He didn't want to go down.
We've seen you, and like I said, you go balls to the wall from the opening bell, right? And a lot of people were questioning, well, can he keep that pace? Can he go like that all 5 rounds? I tell you, is there any adjustments you think you're going to make after your fight, or you think it's just you're going to still keep doing the same thing that you've been doing?
Yeah, I mean, I dropped him, very early on in the first round. And I think after the second round, honestly, I don't think it was that I was tired. It just I couldn't punch anymore. So I almost was trying to let my hands rest a little bit. And then I showed it in the fourth round, came back very hard, pretty much dominated in the fourth round, almost dropped him again. And then fifth round, same thing, but he hit me, rocked me in the fifth round a little bit. And that's kind of what slowed me down there. But I think out of the whole thing, only the third round, I kind of changed my strategy a little bit, tried to bait him to come in. I know he was trying to play on the outside. So, you saw me dropping my hands, kind of pointing to my nose, kind of taunting him a little bit because I wanted him to come in so we can get that exchange. But it was good. It was fun. I think the only thing is I just need to not punch as hard all the time, maybe.
Kevin Smith asked a question I think we all want to know. How bad were your hands after the fight? You said that you were trying to rest your hands kind of during the fight. Were they really bothering you during the fight? And any permanent damage or anything? Or
I'd say, and I've been saying, I said it. If you can listen to the corner video, I'm like, after the second round, I was just like, man, my hands are done. My hands are done. They were swollen already. Every punch was just painful. It kind of opened my eyes up a little bit in the fact that I fought 5-minute rounds in MMA before.
Yeah.
And it's different, even though these are 2-minute rounds where you're hitting somebody, right? And they're not going down. And the only way to beat them is to keep punching them. I can't take him down. I can't knee him. I can't kick him. I can't do a submission. I have to either try to knock him out or run away. And I'm not one to run away and play the point game. So I wanted an exciting fight. So I kept in the middle, kept those exchanges. Even though I started punching with like the sides of my hands at one point. But like you said, going back, I think maybe I would have hit him to the body more. I would have hit him to the body more than go to the head hunting. I was definitely head hunting.
Any word on the rest of the tournament and maybe your next fight? Any heads up maybe you can kind of give us?
Yeah, I know that they are doing the other 2 fights. I'm not sure how it's going to go about with who fights who. I know originally they had me and Palomino on separate sides. He was an old teammate of mine. That was kind of the thing that I said, hey, man, I don't mind fighting a friend. At the end of the day, it's business.
Right.
But it'll be awesome if we can be in the finals. If we both make it to the finals, let that happen. Honestly, the other 4 guys, I know I wish I can say their names off the top of their heads. I'm horrible with names. I'm really good with faces, but
are they currently in BKFC now, or are they like newer guys kind of cross?
No, I think I know 3 out of the 4. I know they had another guy and he had to pull out or something like that. So I know 3 out of the 4 are. One of them is I think he's 3-0 also in bare knuckle. So that might give you guys a clue. But yeah, I think they're doing it. And from what I'm told, again, nothing set in stone. Sure. But I'll be, I fought 4 times in 6 months, and taking a little break. But I think I might be going to New York for that card. So we'll see.
The July 9th?
I believe so. Yeah, it's okay. up in next to the Hall of Fame.
July 11th. That's what it was. July 11th. Yeah.
But my hands, my knuckles just a lot. I don't know if you can tell, but it still looks swollen. I'm grappling again. I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I'm not punching yet.
Yeah.
It just is what it is right now.
Is it just swelling, or was anything broke, or is just?
No, there's nothing broken. I need to get an MRI, see I was in pain from the last fight, that Julian Lane fight. I was still in pain on my hands. Even coming into this fight, I wasn't hitting pads really. I don't think I sparred one time going into this fight, honestly. So I was just kind of resting my hand, hitting paddles, which don't hurt as much. But I know every time I hit mitts, my hand was hurting a little bit. So I probably have something in there, nerve damage or something that I have to get checked out. But I've been working now with a hand specialist, and he's been kind of desensitizing my hand. So it's a lot better, faster than it was in the previous Julian Lane fight.
Yeah, I remember after, because we were in Tampa for that. I remember right after the fight, you were kind of icing them down, and you weren't sure if they were broken or not, but you knew something was up with them. I'll tell you what, it's always a blast to see you fight. I this is just a personal. I think the 155 tournament. I think it's simple. I think it should have been more people. I think
man, you're preaching to the choir, but
I think the next fight should have been the time. So like you and Caleb, Palomino and Brito, the winner fights each other. There it is. That's the chance. Short and sweet. Simple.
That would have been awesome. I guess apparently they've had, an 8-man tournament for the heavyweight and an 8-man tournament for the bantamweight. I mean, I don't know if it's bantamweight. I don't know. The weight classes are different.
Lightweight.
Yeah. I guess I don't know who was in that tournament really, but that's what they tell me. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know. I enjoy fighting for bare knuckle and everything, and I don't shy away from any fight. I want the toughest fights. I don't need a belt to tell me that I'm the king of that division. I know that I'm that on-crown champ. So whoever it is they put in front of me, I don't think they can prepare for it. So I'm just making money and just taking these fights, and the belt will come. The belt will come.
I hear you, brother. I believe in you, my friend. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, we're pumped. Real quick before we let you go, UFC 248 quick predictions. Adesanya versus Romero, and then Sang versus you got.
I like going. I'm just gonna go for Romero. Just honestly, I don't. It might sound crazy, but I do not watch fights at all. It's been a part of my life so much. I'm a matchmaker. I like watching, I'll go to live fights, regional fights. I like seeing these up and comers come up and do their thing. But kind of the UFC and stuff I don't understand guys fighting for titles that are coming off losses in multiple divisions now. It's happening. So, but Yoel Romero, he's a South Florida guy. I'm a South Florida guy. He's just a freak athlete, man, and I would love to see him get the surprise win. So I'm just going with him, just based on that, man, based on the underdog for the most part, the guy who's over 40, still doing his thing, still on the grind, and I hope he can close out his career with a championship belt.
What about? I agree. Yeah. What about Joanna and what do you got for that?
I mean, I have been a Joanna fan for a long time. Her and I both fought together on the same card in Cage Warriors, maybe almost 10 years ago now.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go with her. Her striking has just been unbelievable, man. I know she had a little rough patch for a little bit, but I think she got this one. I think she's gonna come back, and we're gonna see the old Joanna.
100%, brother. We don't want to keep you. I know you're out probably with the family and friends and stuff, so we don't want to hold you up too much anymore. I see that, man. Mr. Jim, Bare Knuckle Beast Alers, we appreciate you, buddy. And, let us know when you get that info when the next fight drops, and we'll have you back on, man, and talk about it. So we appreciate your time, my friend, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Have a good one, man.
Bye.
All right. We have the misfit herself, in the waiting room here. We're gonna bring her in. Let's bring her on in. It's Christine Ferea. What's going on?
What's up, motherfuckers?
I love it. I love it.
I'm sitting back here like, yo, why they ain't gonna win shit? Nah, she's getting her ass whipped by Zane.
You think so?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. She's gonna run. She's gonna run, but Zang's gonna beat that ass.
I agree. I agree with you. I think Joanna, I've been saying this. I was talking about this earlier. I just feel like Joanna has just lost something, ever since Rose beat her. She's lost.
She gained something.
She
and
did.
Lost this and gained this.
There was what were they saying? Zhang was talking about she was worried she might have put on a couple extra pounds right there. So
for sure
they were worried about that. I don't know, man. I think I don't know if you want to say lost a step or confidence or something, but it's she just hasn't been the same. I think
it's not that she just lost. She gets her ass kissed all day.
Yeah,
she probably got a bunch of yes men around her.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's poison. Poison. I don't want to be around nobody that's telling me I'm doing good all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want that. I want somebody to tell me the fucking truth. Someone that I don't like most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need that. I've tried that whole, okay, do I need that pep talk and all? No, I don't need that shit. I need the hard road to be ruthless and savage in this game. You don't want it easy in this shit.
I was gonna ask you later, but since you're kind of touching on it,
yeah.
You put a lot of messages, on your social media, a lot of like positive stuff and a lot of things like that, right? Like, what inspires you? Like, what keeps you going? Because like when I use the word, someone's a grinder, right? Somebody is embracing the grind. I like that quote that DC says all the time. You're one of those people. Day in and day out, I'm constantly seeing you doing something. You're posting something every single day. Yeah. I mean, what gets you up in the morning to do this? What gets you up in the morning to want to, do it at that high of a level every day?
Being the best fighter I could be. I really love this, and I really want to be the best, and I really want to be better and get better. A lot of people do it for the attention and other reasons, but I really do this to be fucking good at it. Like, I want to be the best. I want to my best. I'm not talking about the best against anyone else. I want to be my best every day. Like, I improve. If you watch from the beginning of my fights to my last fight, I improve every single fucking fight, and I'm different. Every fight I am improving, and it's just a drive to want to be a better person, to be a better fighter. I'm constantly working on myself to be better. Like, I'm never satisfied with what I'm doing. That's another thing, is I'm never satisfied, and I'm never think I'm at the point where I want to be. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not at the point I want to be. I don't have my damn belt. But, and I'm glad, because it put another fire in me. A new, man, that loss was good for me. Fucking good for me. It was good for me because I needed to make some changes for myself as well. So I always turn everything for the positive. You know what I mean? You gotta manipulate yourself. You gotta lie to yourself sometimes. Sometimes you gotta be like, yes, I love getting punched in the fucking face. Who likes to get punched in the face? I don't know anybody. But when I get in that ring, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to get fucking hit. Just to be able to withstand shit. You have to find a way to get through things. And I picked a crazy line of work. And a crazy, like, every day's a grind. Every day. There's no day that's not a grind. It's from my sleep to the time I wake up, to what I put in my body, to who I have around me. Everything matters. I love that it keeps me on my toes in that way. Because if I didn't have fighting, then I would let dumbass people slip in my life, as I do right now sometimes. But then I'm like, oh fuck, you're an idiot. Bye. Or you're not ready to level up. not you're an idiot, but they're not at that level to where they want to improve themselves or be better. And I'm not going to lower myself for somebody, or you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but I'm saying that I'm trying to progress as a person.
I completely understand what you're saying. And that's like, I was reading, you posted something like that where you're talking about getting rid of like negative people in your life. I mean, how important, having that immediate circle around you, whether it's, family, friends, the people that you talk to the most, right? I mean, how important is it to you to really keep that in check? And if there's somebody that's, like you said, it's not that you're better than them, but if they're being, like negative Nancy's, or if you got people that are just complaining all the time, or you got people that are, just, nothing's ever going right for them, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
How important is that to you?
Oh, that's first. That's first in my life. I give people chances, and I'm like, hey, they hate that, but there's one day that I won't answer a text from you anymore. I won't answer a phone call from you anymore. And they'll know why, because I always give advice, and my way is not the right way, but do it your way, how you get positive or whatever, know? So that's like number one for me. That's number one, because I didn't realize for a long time how important that was and why I was going in certain directions that I was going, that your surroundings are everything.
100%, man. I like it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
If you had to put a percentage of the fight game, and you want MMA, bare knuckle, whatever, if you had to put a percentage, where would you put mental versus physical? Like, 90% mental, 80% mental, 20%, like, where would you put it?
Well, it depends on what stage you are in the game. So as a fighter, like in the beginning of my career, it was 90% physical. Like I need to get my physical up. You know what I mean? And so I think it varies on what stage of the game you're in. At this point, it's 90% mental. Like that's where I focus my strengths on, because the physical part's easy for me now. So I think it varies. It varies, I think, to fighter to fighter.
For you,
I really do think it's a big mental game. Yeah, for me. Yeah, for me as a fighter, it's right at this point right now. I work on a lot of my mental. I work on mental because that is the most important. That's the most important. 10% physical. I've seen a sports psychotherapist now, and it's helped me so much, dude. Oh my God, it's amazing. Like the different perspectives, that she gives me. Laura McGowley, here in Las Vegas. She's amazing. It's just different perspectives. I was like, man, I ain't gonna do that the therapist shit. I hate it. I hate therapists. They try to have that when I was young. That shit never happened. Like, it never helped me. Nothing like that. But she's a sports therapist, so it's not like addressing like dumb shit, So it's like getting your mental game together, and it's really helped me a lot.
Joey Beltran, he talked about that before his fight with Chase Sherman. He was talking about how he started into like I don't know if it was like a psychotherapist, but he was like just a positivity guru, or I don't know exactly what the wording was, but he said he started talking to somebody like that, and just he used the same kind of language you're talking about, just changed him, just really opened him.
Yeah,
just change his thinking, his way of thinking, just getting the negative out, getting the toxins out, getting get rid of all that stuff. Yep. Get rid of all that shit.
Yeah, and they teach you how to how to place your energy too, because we're around fighters and coaches, and coaches are fighters, and we have one fucking thing we want to do, and that's kill something in front of us. Right. And we have a mentality that is hard. So it's like sometimes you got to have different angles that you look at things. Everything isn't hard, and everything isn't a certain way you look at it. Right. So sports therapist, my sports therapist anyway, isn't a fighter. You know what I'm saying, or coming from that world, so it helps. It helps to get that kind of view. You know what I mean? And she obviously does a lot of studies, and she does like I forgot what the names are, stuff like these. Like she makes me follow this. I don't know. It's psychological stuff that she's making me do. It's crazy. It's insane, and she makes me tap into some shit that I'm like, damn. Like, but in my career, it's all involving it's all around my career.
Right.
So it's like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that still affected me, yo.
Yeah.
Like, what, you know? And so things I held on to, bitter with whatever, that's just gone, dude. I've had the best camp ever. The best camp ever. Like everything has like been great. I love it. There's no excuses. I had a great camp.
I mean, you could tell, man. Like I can just, you know, I kind of, you feel people's energy even across the camera, man. I feel it. You know, you seem like you're in good spirits. You seem like you're just you're ready. I could see it. And I mean, let's talk about this fight. We haven't talked about it much, but let's talk about it. You and Helen. It's the second one. First one, like you said, it didn't go your way. What kind of changes did you make coming off of that first one, coming off of that loss?
Coming off that, well, I did things. I'm doing things my way this time. I'm doing things my way and how I want to prepare for this fight and how I want to prepare for a fight for the most part. I listen to my coaches and stuff like that, but I'm not like, okay, everything you say I fucking do. I am a fucking robot. You know, like I'm doing shit my way, because when I do things someone else's way, yeah, it might be good and it might work, but it's not me. Like coaches are there to add to you, not make who you are. Like I was born a fucking fighter. I know how to fight. I've been in this game over a decade. I've been fighting over a decade. I know what the fuck to do. I don't need to learn to fight. I need to clean up some technique and get faster or do some things, but I just made changes that I know that I did my own studying. I didn't leave it to somebody else. You know, I just what's great about this too is I got to watch the fight. I didn't get to study her because she had MMA fights before.
Right.
So it's like kind of hard to study someone that's never done this. So like I know her better than she knows herself right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a different fight. It's gonna be a different fight. I don't know how many times I'm even gonna get hit in this fight. Who knows? It might be another war like that. If it is, I'm ready for it. But I don't know. I've been working on my defense, really good defense. I've been working with boxers. I've been working with MMA fighters, which I didn't do last time. You know, she's an MMA fighter. She's not a boxer. I was boxing champion boxers last time. Sharp, beautiful movement technique. She don't got that. She is a MMA fighter. You know what I'm saying? She throws some straight punches sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But
she's a brawler.
You know, I'm just ready for her. Yeah, she's a brawler. You know what I mean? She's a brawler. And when you've been with straight boxers your whole camp that know how to box, it's a different game. You know what I mean? So I went Muay Thai fighters, just MMA fighters, wrestlers, and boxers. And I want to stay sharp with the boxers because they keep me so sharp and fast. To be very honest, they're different. You know, they hit different, they hit harder, they're more smooth, you know. Then the Muay Thai fighters, they're strong, they come, some guys come wider, you know, just like her. I got some guys that went crazy like her. I didn't have one woman in my camp. I didn't spar any women at all. I didn't want it. I just wanted to get my ass beat every time. So I was defeated every time, you know, like fuck. Get back up. Fuck, get hit. I got hit so hard one time that I felt like I ran as fast as I could into a brick wall at full speed. That's how hard this motherfucker hit. I was like, holy shit. You know, so I'm ready. That was, it was crazy. I ran into something. I didn't run into that again, know that.
What's that expression? You box a brawler and you brawl a boxer, right?
Yeah, you can do both. I have like 5 different game plans. I have 5 different fucking game plans for this girl. For, you know what I'm saying? I do. I have five. I have several. I don't have just one game plan. You know, we'll see what works. I'll work one, see if that works. If that doesn't work, okay, let me switch to that other one. I got a lot of tools.
And maybe I tell you what, I'll say this, and maybe it might ruffle some feathers of the brass, but I'm not worried about it. I think y'all's fight, it should have been the main event. It's for the title. It should be for the main event. Yeah. I get it's no disrespect or no knock on anybody. It's not at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like I get why they did it with Nico. You know, he's the local guy. He's very popular. I get that, but just from a title perspective, I've been a firm believer that the title should go on last. That's just, and you don't have to comment on that if you don't want to. That's just my. I want to say it. I said the same thing to Joey when him and Sherman didn't go on last. I thought.
Yeah.
I just don't agree with it. I think you got that the belt needs to be the most important thing. So champ needs to go on last.
It is the most important.
So
yeah. I think that it's just a draw. So I understand it's the business side. So I would always get an argument with David, and he's like, you don't understand the business side of the shit. And I'm like, and I didn't understand what he was saying. And you know what? If I was bringing in and she was bringing in more, we would be the main event. Just like they don't have Beck on there because she's some special human being. They didn't have her main event because she's special. They have her on there because she has the following. And I understand that, and I process that. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. It's not a knock against me.
Right. Yeah. It's not. But my comeback to that would also be, and I understand the business side of it. I really do. But you also have the integrity of the championship to put it on last.
I know.
It keeps it, and this, I don't want to argue with anybody about it, but that's just the way I just,
I wish it would. Shit. I mean, much love. Thank you. you know, but I just think it's I want the sport to grow. Whatever's best for the company, it's best for me.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. So if he's making certain decisions, he's not going to make decisions in my mind. This is how I justify it in my head. He's not going to make this. He's not going to put me like not at co-main or whatever higher up on the card if it's not going to benefit me and him or him mostly, of course. Yeah. So I trust that because he's not going to do anything to fuck himself.
Yeah,
I know what I'm saying. Which
I completely get.
And I understand, but it's not. And I'm already past the fact that because I didn't get into the UFC, I didn't like certain promotions didn't want me, which I should be in. And it's not personal.
Right.
It's not fucking personal. It's business. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have look. I didn't have this. Whatever. It's entertainment. It's business. It's not who I was as a fighter. Because I know that I could beat up I have beat up some of the roster in the UFC. Right. That are currently in there, and it's not that. It's fucking business. It sucks. Politics. It is what it is.
Yeah, no, like I said,
and that's how we keep going. Yeah,
I get it. Like I said, no argument. It's like I said, no knock or disrespect. It's just it's just it is what it is. You're 100% right. Yeah. Your custom song that came out. You had a guy made you a song. It is fire.
My boy.
Absolute fire.
The motherfucking beast.
How did that come about?
Oh, he hit me up and he's just like, hey, I want to make a song for you. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. And I was like, okay, of course, another guy made a song for me and he, previously before him. And, if they want to make a song, they want to make a song, like, I'm not going to tell them, no, that's awesome. That's an honor to have that, done for me. That was like a dream, so he made it and I was like, okay, I didn't know what to expect and I played it and he sent me like the chorus and stuff. I'm like, okay. And then he sent me the whole thing. I was like, oh my God, it's fucking me in a song. Yeah. Like how I feel, who I am. It's like me and him are like warrior soulmates because he got that from within himself. He feels too. You know what I'm saying? What he saw about me, because I told him, look, I have to win this fight, or it's done. I'm done, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, if I get beat by this caliber of a girl, like I'm missing a step. I'm too old for this shit. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm done, and so it's like, he's like, you're back against the wall. My back's against the wall, trying to make somebody bleed. You know what I'm saying? And make them all believe. That was my that's my logo for the camp. Make them believe. You know, because nobody ever trying to give a misfit a chance. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta make them believe, you know, that I'm supposed to be there and I could pull in the fans. And so he just put everything together, and it's an amazing fucking song. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. Misfit by Playboy the Beast. It's on every music platform, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, everything. So yeah, I'm honored to be able to. I want to have him come out rapping it.
That would be cool.
I will. When I win this belt, then when I get them money to pay his ass. You know what I'm saying? So and Dave come and let me do that, you know.
Just Nico, I see you, brother. But I guess just to wrap things up real quick, we don't want to keep you too long. I know you're giving up pressure weight cut time, but I guess just to wrap
I'm gonna go run.
Just to wrap it up, how's it gonna go next weekend?
Oh, she's about to get schooled. I'm gonna teach her some things. She got a big mouth, so I'm gonna shut it. I'm gonna take her jaw and put it on my fireplace, because she's not gonna be speaking for a long time after our fight, for sure. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be. I'm coming in with a mentality of going to war, so be ready.
All right. It's Christine Ferea versus Helen Peralta. It's going to be next Saturday again, BKFC 11, Wichita, Kansas. Check it out if you're local. It's going to be, of course, Fight TV pay-per-view, all that good stuff. And good luck to you. We appreciate your time, and hopefully that weight cut goes easy for you. Hey, you're not going to answer the weight challenge yet, are you? Has anybody gotten that, by the way?
Dude, they said everything but what the weight was. But I'm lower now, but I'm still basing it on that picture. Nobody's got it.
No one's got it yet.
If you analyze the numbers, you'll it's easy to find out.
It's a lot of numbers. All right.
Yeah, but if you go down, get a piece of paper and just write all the numbers down, and then I'm good at 125-pound fighter.
Right.
I can't be too crazy.
You're not going to be, but so right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in shape. So
we'll take a look. Good luck to you, and we will definitely we'll catch you again. Take care. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
All right. We've got Mr. Nico Hernandez waiting in the wings here. We will go ahead and bring him on. All right. Nico Hernandez, what's up, my man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Not too much. Just relaxing. Weekend, you know. Just got done training. Just chilling now.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your time, man. Like I said, I know it's last minute, so we definitely appreciate you coming on. Really looking forward to talking to you. So, of course, you're facing Chancey Wilson, the main event BKFC 11. You know, 2016 Olympic bronze medalist. I kind of want to talk about your story, man. I was reading some of it. I kind of want to hear in your own words. I read that originally your parents were completely against you boxing, getting in the ring.
Right. Yeah.
I guess talk about that, man. Like, talk about how you got into the sport, and I guess what has led you to take the gloves off and toe the line.
All right. Well, yeah. I started out playing other sports. You know, soccer, basketball. My dad bought me some like little go-kart race cars that I was supposed to start racing. But you know, doing those sports and losing, it is like I hate the feeling of losing. Like, no matter what, like I'm competitive. I do not like losing. So, you know, when we lose a game, soccer, basketball, I would kind of blame it on the other kids and blame it on my teammates. Yeah. So, I see my uncle. He was a boxer, professional boxer, and I used to go to the gym with him a little bit when I was little, and I told my father that I wanted to start boxing. He said, "No, you don't. Like, it's not something you want to do." But I'm like, "Yeah, like let me try it." Like back then we was like I was just putting socks on my hands and boxing the neighbors with socks on my hands and stuff. Beating up all the neighbor kids. But
Right.
I finally talked him into letting me do it, and I won. I trained for 3 days for my first boxing match, and I ended up winning. And I went on a 26-0 streak until I lost my first boxing match. And I started boxing at 9 years old, and now I'm 24 today. I've won like every single national tournament you can think of. Like as a kid growing up, I was like, I know the kids when they see me in the bracket, I know they hated it because I was always the one to beat. Like I've won like every single tournament. But now going to the Olympics, I think it was like really my goal to make it to Olympics was when I was in the Junior Olympics. I was like 15, and I won the National Junior Olympics, and just stand on top of the podium like on number one and getting like bending down and getting the medal over my neck, over my head. It was a great feeling, and I just loved the feeling of winning. And it's just like boxing. It was just like it's what I'm good at. Like I feel like that's just what I'm meant to do. Like that's really like all I know. I've been doing this for my whole life. Since I started 9 years old, I'm 24 now, and 7-0 as a professional. I was 100 and like 130, or I mean 125 with 12 losses as an amateur,
Yeah.
and only 4 of those losses coming out of the United States, and the other were internationally, and I believe a lot of those I won even, but the judges and stuff, it's just a little complicated how things work like that. But yeah.
What about the transition to bare knuckle? What made you want to take the gloves off?
Um, I mean, it's something new that I don't know. I feel like I've been having a lot of like I've been just feeling like fighting lately, and I haven't had a boxing match in a year, and this opportunity came up in the biggest arena that we have in Wichita, Kansas. I haven't yet to fight exactly in Wichita, Kansas. I fought in the surrounding areas, but not actually in. And fighting the biggest arena in downtown is that's been like a goal for me since I've turned professional. And the BKFC is allowing that to happen. They're making that happen, and I've been seeing myself like off the highway on billboards and
Yeah.
just like go through Snapchat and just like I'll scroll and like I'll see my face pop up on the ads and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's like a dream come true. I think it's real cool. But yeah.
What have you been working on specifically? Because obviously, I'm sure you've had to adjust and modify your training.
Right.
What in specifically, because there's the half plumb clinch that it's very unique, right? It's very
Mm-hmm.
unique to BKFC.
Right.
Allows for that dirty boxing style to happen, and just the 2 minute rounds, the pace of it is just so different. What have you done specifically to modify your training style to this?
Well, first off, we take off the gloves, and a lot of my rounds now, like it's not like trying to set things up. I mean, it is, but it's not. But it's more of a fast pace that I gotta work, and I've been throwing a lot more punches than I usually do, and just being a little bit more aggressive. And I have been working on the clinch a little bit too, and I feel like like I've been boxing since I was 9, so like I'm just like this whole time I've been training to stand up and fight with my hands, like, and I just feel like untouchable when somebody's in the same weight as me, and especially without the gloves. I mean, yeah, MMA fighters do box, but I
It's
feel
different.
like
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it's different. Like my hands are like on a whole different level than what a lot of these other people's are, and I feel like I'm a fighter. Like I love to fight. It's what I was born to do, I guess, and I guess come Saturday, you guys are gonna like, you guys are definitely gonna be pleased with the show that I put on.
I looked up, Googled a lot of stuff about you, man, and one of the things that kept coming up a lot was unusually fast and aggressive.
Right.
Describe that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, sounds pretty accurate to me. I like to, I don't know, I like to put on a show for everybody, you know? Like, I guess that's why they invited me to do the BKFC, because I'm like I said, I'm a fighter, you know? I'm a dog when I come in the ring. It's like letting a pit bull off a leash, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
You know, I like to get down. I like to get straight to business. And I like to, like I said, I don't get paid to go overtime. So I like to try to get my opponent out of there as fast as I can.
What's this fight at? Because I know like you're a flyweight. What's
Right.
this fight at? Is it at flyweight?
We're fighting at 115.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I believe that would be the first. I believe that's going to be the first fight in that division
Oh, is it?
for BKFC. Yeah, I believe, because right now I think the lowest it goes is 135. I don't even think there's a 125 yet.
Okay.
I think,
Nice.
yeah. So I think you're going to be the first 115-pound.
Oh, yeah. So we're making history all around then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of history to be made, right? Because it's the
Yeah.
first legally sanctioned bare knuckle, the full event. I know they did one bare knuckle fight a couple months ago, but
Right.
you're going to be part of history, man. The first fully legal bare knuckle card, in your hometown, in your home
Right.
state, in this, the big arena.
Yeah.
Is it? I know you say you're a pit bull in there, and you're a game fighter, but is there any added pressure to this? You're closing the show. You're going in there and closing the show. Is there any added pressure to that, or is it just, another day at the office?
Yeah, it's just another day in the office to me. I mean, I've my seven boxing matches. I was main event for all of them except for one, and it's been like near my hometown. Like I said, not in my hometown, but near. So I had my pro debut. I brought out 3,200 fans, and just coming out of the tunnel, walking out of the tunnel, and seeing everybody there, to support you and yelling your name and just happy to see you. It's kind of like my superhero moment. Like I feel like unstoppable. Like there's like when I walk in there and I fight in front of my hometown, like I feel like I can't lose. Like that's not an option for me at all. And I'm just straight, that tunnel vision. When I'm walking out, I'm just focused, ready to do my thing and ready to come out victorious.
And we don't want to keep it too much longer, man. How's it going down next Saturday?
How's it going down, man? There's really no telling. It just kind of depends on my opponent. Like I said, I like to get things going and try to get him out of there as fast as I can. Maybe try to fill him out for like the first couple of seconds. Maybe not try to fill him out and just try to go for the kill right off. Like it just depends how I'm feeling. I mean, I know he didn't train harder than me, because I've been training hard. I've been busting my ass and just doing what I gotta do in the gym, eating right.
Yeah.
Getting this weight cut's been super easy for me, and I'm feeling real healthy, real good, and like I did everything I can in order to win this.
100%, man. Well, I tell you what, I'm. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say,
but
like,
this is boxing, I don't overlook any opponent. Anything can happen. It only takes one shot. But
yeah,
I've fought a lot bigger people. I've been hit a great chin, so I ain't really worried about that. But I'm ready to throw hands already, man. Like I feel like it's taking forever to get here. Just talking about it.
Well, I tell you what, man, we're excited because as soon as we heard about you, your pedigree, Olympic caliber boxer coming in there with your skills, your skill set, man. It's I'm excited. I'm excited to see you take the gloves off and go in there bare knuckle. It's that's one thing that we've seen a lot of MMA guys cross over into bare knuckle, but
Right.
There hasn't. I think the percentage of like glove boxing crossing over. We saw Paulie, of course, come over, but it's just the high level caliber boxers. You don't see too many of them.
Yeah,
So
no,
someone like yourself crossing over, it's really exciting. I'm anxious to see it, and can't wait. So, Nico Hernandez versus Chancey Wilson next week. Guys, check it out. Pay-per-view Fight TV. If you're local in the area, once again, please go check this out. You won't regret it. And my friend, we wish you all the best of luck. We thank you for coming on again, short notice. We appreciate you.
Yes,
and
sir.
We'll be talking again soon, buddy.
All right, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Have a good night, man.
Yep, you too.
All right, that was Nico Hernandez. We're going to bring on the Mexicutioner, Joey Beltran, Harris, Sammy Stevenson. I see you, buddy. Just be patient with me. I see you, my friend. Joey Beltran, let's get him on the horn. Mexicutioner, are you with us?
I'm here.
There he is. There he is, my man. I can hear you, buddy. There's a slight delay, but I can hear you.
All right.
What's going on, man?
Everything is going good, man. Just out. Actually, thank God I remembered. I'm watching the all the heavyweight boxing on Fox right now.
Okay.
And just saw Joey DeWeco and Frank Sanchez, and I was like, "Oh shit, I got to do that call."
All good, man. All good, buddy. So you're in the news here since yesterday. Big time, man. Mark Godbeer, Joey Beltran for the BKFC, and I assume for the Police Gazette heavyweight title as well. I assume. I can't wait, man. We're pumped. This is a fans fight. This is an historic fight. This is something that I think people are going to be talking about for a long time. I guess I want to hear your thoughts on this. How long have you known about this fight kind of starting to bubble up and come to fruition? And what are your thoughts on Mark Godbeer as a fighter?
Well, I mean, as far as like the fight coming to fruition, I found out for sure yesterday. But I'm kind of used to that as far as like how I knew that I was fighting April 11th, right? I knew that for a while. So I've been training for like a couple months. It's just I didn't have an opponent. I heard possibly this Russian guy that was getting signed, and then I saw Mark Godbeer making noise on the internet, and I was like, oh, maybe that'll happen. But I thought he was signed by Valor. And then one of my close personal friends who works for Valor told me, no, we released them. I was like, oh, shit, well, that's probably going to be the fight. And, yeah, it happened.
What are your thoughts on Godbeer? Has he ever been on your radar? Have you ever thought about fighting him before? Do you know?
Yeah. I mean, he definitely, like, I think we're signed to Bellator at the same time, around the same time. Yeah. So I'm definitely somebody who I thought like, oh, that'd be a fun guy to fight. Big, a big bruiser.
Yeah.
And comes and brings it every time. So, and now here we do it. We're gonna do it in bare knuckle. I don't know if he like. I don't know. I thought he was the BKB champion too as well.
He is.
That's what I always thought. And then like, I posted BKB versus BKFC champ, and then BKB tagged me, and they're like, "Oh, he's not our champ. He never was our champ." And well, I don't give a shit. Regardless, we're fucking fighting.
Well, I just talked to him earlier. According to him, he's still the BKB heavyweight champion.
Well, there's probably some business falling out. Like I said,
yeah.
Regardless, he can be the fucking WWE champion. I'm still gonna whip his ass April 11th.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, we were talking about this too, and I know people are probably going to get tired of hearing me say this. I don't care, man. It's you're the BKFC heavyweight champion, the Police Gazette heavyweight champion. He's, whether they say so or not, I believe he's the BKB over in the UK. For people who aren't familiar with it, he's their heavyweight champion, and then he won the one night tournament for Valor, and he's their heavyweight champion as well. So you're talking arguably BKB is, it's one of the top promotions. I mean, I think BKFC is obviously it's the cream of the crop right now. A lot of people, BKB has a huge lineage. So all those lineages coming together, I know his titles aren't on the line, obviously, but unofficially, I think this could be considered the unofficial undisputed heavyweight bare knuckle champion. What say you about that?
I mean, I don't think there's anything unofficial about it, man. I mean, it is what it is. It is the two top guys right now fighting for the undisputed crown. I mean, make no mistake about it. I mean, all the belts are on the line, whether or not they're physically going to be exchanged or not. It's champion versus champion. He won that one night tournament in Valor.
Yeah.
He was on record as being the BKB champion. Whether or not they had a little dispute or whatever, I don't really care.
Right.
And then, I just got, I have the BKFC title. So it's champ versus champ. After April 11th, man, when I handle business, nobody can say shit to me afterwards. I'm legitimately the best bare knuckle fighter in the world. Until the next monster comes along, then I have to whoop their ass.
I think it's safe to say I agree with you 1,000%. Whoever wins that fight is, I was talking about this too, in boxing and MMA, usually whoever has the heavyweight championship, you're the baddest man on the planet. I think there is no argument. I think whoever wins this fight between you and Godbeer, baddest man on the planet. Is that safe?
We definitely get an argument. I mean, considering it's cool, and I love Stipe Miocic, but I mean, we had a fucking hell of a fight way back in the day.
Yeah.
In his UFC debut, and so that was a good fight. So I mean, definitely can fucking say I wouldn't be afraid to fight him again, and I definitely would not shy away from the opportunity to fight somebody like the Gypsy King. That would be just an awesome opportunity, entertainment, So I definitely. Without hesitation, yeah, man. We definitely own a piece of that baddest man on the planet pie for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, man. And I think it will be so good for the sport, man. I really do. I think to see Godbeer come over here and to see him face you, like I said, you're right now, you're the man. BKFC, you're the man right now. You hold the Police Gazette, the BKFC title. You're it in terms of heavyweight division for BKFC, bare knuckle period. In my eyes, you're the man. He's coming over here with his belts, challenging you for this. He called you out. He got the answer. You're ready to throw down. I just don't think it gets any bigger than this, man. Like when you talk about big fight feels and just like big fight atmosphere, I think this has this written all over it. And maybe I'm a little biased, but it gave me goosebumps, man. I mean, legit, 1,000%. Not because you're in front of me. It legit gave me goosebumps when I heard the announcement. I can't fucking wait. I've said it about 1,000 times a night. People are probably tired of hearing me talk about it, but I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, you and me both, man. And this is what it's all about. It's like when I was working with my mental coach. Caleb, after winning the title, okay, we have the title. What do we really want to do with this? Like, what is this all about? Do we just want to win the belt? And I said, no, man, I want to go down in history as the best heavyweight in this modern era of bare knuckle fighting. That's what I want my legacy to be. And it's almost like I spoke that shit into existence because here we are. We have the legitimate, like, to quote Gypsy King, the lineal crown for bare knuckle. Whoever wins this is the champ. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this before. We talked about this right before the Chase Sherman fight where, you were talking about how you were seeing the mental coach and how you just start to you envision things and they almost manifest themselves, like you said, into existence. And how important, I mean, obviously there's a lot at stake, right? But again, broken record, it's a historical fight. This is a big fight. without titles on the line, Beltran versus Godbeer, I think is a main event anywhere, right? But with these belts on the line, I mean, does that motivate you even that much more? Because, like you said, your legacy, you want to be the man, you want to be the end all be all in the sport. Does it just motivate you that much more?
I mean, obviously, yeah. You know, I'd be lying if I said it didn't mean a little something extra.
Yeah.
I try to I don't try. I definitely bake it about just the pure physical act. Okay, who am I fighting? I'm fighting a 6'4", 240-pound, you know, wild man with a fucking dynamite in his right hand and one punch knockout power. Okay, so I gotta pass that physical test. But yeah, man, all that other stuff like we talked about, you know, my belts being on the line, you know, the historical, you know, me being inducted into the Hall of Fame as being the first person to win it since John L. Sullivan, you know, in the Police Gazette title, you know, that ceremony is on July 11th. I definitely do not want to show up there without the belt.
Right. Right.
You know,
right.
That in itself is enough pressure.
How long do you think this fight's gonna last, man? Because again, and I'm going to release the interview in a couple days, so people don't know this yet. But I asked Mark how's this fight going to go. He said it's going to be quick. He said it's going to be a quick night for Beltran. So
good. Hey, I hope so, man, because it makes shit a lot easier for me when people come and try to take my head off. You know, there's no black and white. It makes it a black or white situation. We don't fucking hang out in the gray area. And if he wants to come and do that way, great. That's all I'm gonna say. I really hope he says that. But I also know that I've had people say that to me in the past, and people say they want that kind of fight, and they don't really want that kind of fucking fight. You know, I've said it a couple times, and to quote the great Eminem, that people think they want this problem until they fucking get it.
So you hope he comes in there aggressive, balls to the wall.
Yeah,
that's what you want.
Oh yeah, that makes shit easier. I don't have to go and find him. You know, and then hey man, all I gotta say is we're lining up at the starting line, and I'm gonna sprint. I'm fucking sprinting, and keep up, motherfucker, keep up. That's all I'm gonna say. Can he keep up?
So you want to. Well, I mean, I know you don't want to give away any type of game plan or anything. So you want to see how far you could take him. You want to take him in the deep water kind of thing. Is that what you're kind of shooting for, or just?
I don't deep water. I don't think he's proven that he can go deep water. I think deep water for him is third round, which is an early night for me. I mean, these are 7-round fight, man. 7-round fight, and that only helps me. That only helps me because I know I can fucking go all night, and he knows I can go all night. So I know that I'm hoping he brings it, man. It's gonna be good.
So this fight for sure, because I knew they were talking about it. So this fight for sure is a 7-round fight.
Yes. Well, I haven't seen the written contract, but it was verbalized through phone, text message that yes.
Interesting.
From the big man, Mr. Feldman. So.
Yeah, because I mean I knew they were talking about it, but I hadn't heard if it was I knew they were talking about doing it, but that makes it even that much more interesting, man. That makes it even that much more interesting. I'm gonna have to.
Man. You know, it's I just think guys look at Mark Godbeer honestly, he's a tough man. He's like a fucking man's man. He's a real man, you know. He's a man's man. He's somebody that I would have to fight in the fucking parking lot.
Yeah.
And it would go the same way in the parking lot. The fight would be the same in the parking lot as it would be in an octagon or any kind of cage across the world or in that squared circle on April 11th. We're just gonna fucking scrap, you know. And I put my money on me. 8 days a week I win that fight. 8 days a week. 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 8 da
Well, brother, I'll tell you what. Again, I can't fucking wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'll say it a million times over. I'm gonna be there in person because I'll be damned if I'm gonna miss that fight. I'll be there with bells and fucking whistles on for that fight. So
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be Birmingham, Alabama. Can't wait for that. It's gonna be BKFC 12. Check it out. I believe the tickets went on sale yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or the day before, something like that. Tickets just went on sale, so go check that out. And of course, pay-per-view, Fight TV, all that good stuff, so don't miss it. Mr. Beltran, I tell you what, we appreciate your time, man. Like I said, I know it's short notice today, and we appreciate you, buddy, and we will be talking to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right. We got Mr. Harris, the Sandman Stevenson, the Clark Kent of Bare Knuckle. I love that. The Clark Kent of Bare Knuckle. I love it. He's been patiently waiting. Let's go ahead and bring this man on. My man, there he is. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, man, not much. Just got off work a little bit ago. Been training a little bit. And about to finish up with this and then go back to training. Never took off the wrap. Still ready.
Oh, you ain't kidding. Look at that. Put that up in the camera. You were right there. Yeah. You're going right back to training. Man, talk about this because, right, it was we didn't even know who Rickles was facing, right? A week ago,
right.
We didn't know anything. And then here we are with an announcement. You're stepping in late notice against Rickles. What happened? Like, how did this happen? What how did it come about? When did you find out? Like, tell us about it, man.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. Ever since my last fight, with Kenny Lacia, things didn't go my way. I got caught. Whatever, it is what it is. I've been attacking David and Nate both, telling them, hey, look, get me on a card. I'll fight anybody. I'll fight 165 to 185. I don't care. I said, find me somebody. Let me redeem myself. I said, I got caught. It is what it is. I promise you, I'm not going to let it happen like that again. So they end up reaching out to me about a week ago, maybe. A little over a week ago. And he's like, hey, he goes, I see you have a fight coming up. Is that still on? And I'm like, yeah, I was actually supposed to fight an MMA fight last Saturday.
Yeah.
And my opponent was coming from Texas, got in some troubles, missed his flight, didn't make the fight. So that ended up getting canceled last minute. I made weight. I made all the way down to 171. And so
Empire, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir. So I ended up getting the call Saturday morning, finding out that he never showed up from his flight. They found out that he never booked in the room, and they kind of had to call the manager, call around and figure out what the heck happened, how he missed the flight. And he ended up getting in a little bit of trouble. So it is what it is. So they said, look, we're going to try to find you a fight. I said, look, find me an MMA fight, a BJJ fight, a CJJ fight, a kickboxing match, a boxing match. I said, I'll do any of it. I said, I don't care. I just want to compete. I said, I'm in shape. Let me do something. Yeah. So they called around and on a day's notice or 8 hours notice, they couldn't find anything. Understandable. I understand. It is what it is. So I just went and had a good time, hung out with the fans. But that day I called Nate. I said, my fight got canceled. My opponent didn't show up. They're looking for me another fight, but I doubt they're going to find me anything. What you got? And he goes, man, look. He goes, you know David Rickles? I said, yeah, I know David Rickles. He goes, we need an opponent for him, Wichita on the 14th. I said, sign me up. So we negotiated contracts. Yeah. And next thing you know, I signed it. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm fighting fucking David Rickles. That dude's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
But that's the fights I want. I want to fight the top guys. I mean, the dude's 21-6 in MMA, and he's been in Bellator for like 10 years or something like that. Yeah. So I mean, the dude's just a beast. He brings it every fight. He's the type of fighter I like going against. He's the type of fighter I like testing myself against. It's not necessarily about beating him, proving I'm better than him. It's proving to myself that I can hang with that type of guy because I look up to him. I like fighting guys I look up to.
Zero hesitation.
Zero. Nah. I told him from the get I'd fight anybody. I mean, anybody 165 to 185, just find me a fight. Let me redeem myself. So I'm reading some of Rickles' posts online. I'm nosy. I'm a nerd. I do all the research and crap. I saw that he was having trouble finding a fight. And even whenever Nate called me before my other fight was even canceled and said, hey, look, I have a possibility for March 14th. If you don't get hurt in your MMA fight and you're not medically suspended, we might have something for you. And I started looking around. And, of course, you see all these fight photos where everybody's paired up. Everybody's matched up with their opponent. Then you see Dave Rickles by himself.
Right.
So I kind of had an idea of who it was going to be.
Right.
So, especially with the weight classes being what they are, I mean, the fight's going to be at 175, which is higher than I fought. But that's better for me because that means that I don't have to travel and cut weight as bad. So,
you look lean, man.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I've kicked up my training camp tremendously for my last MMA fight. I've like I said, I made 171 last Friday, so I've kicked my cardio up. I've started implementing weight training. I'm doing everything right for my last MMA camp.
You know,
I'm just transitioning that over.
I could see it a lot, like right up in here. Like you can, yeah. Sorry,
yes, sir.
I just, yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah, I mean, I've absolutely amped up my training because I want to, even in an MMA fight, I wanted to go 5 minutes of high pace tenacity in the fight. That was my game plan for that fight, was high pace. Now I'm going from 5 minutes to 2 minutes. So I'm going to keep the same high pace tenacity. Now I just get to do it with just my hands against another high pace fighter that's going to have cardio for days. So it's going to be an absolute war. And I'm looking forward to it. I told my work firsthand. I say, hey, look, I need these days off to make the trip. However, I'm coming back Sunday night. Monday, I'm scheduled to work 6:30 a.m. Said, how beat up's too beat up to come into work? Because I'll come into work, I don't care. I said, I'll be ugly. I don't care. How beat up's too beat up? What's unprofessional to come into law enforcement?
Right.
And have like stitches in your face of it. Is that too bad? I mean, come on. I don't want to miss work for it, but. You tell me what's too much.
You gotta wear like those big old like aviator sunglasses, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Having an opponent like Rickles, which, like you said, he's a big name. Everybody if you know MMA, you probably know who David Rickles is, right? Caveman Rickles. Like you said,
yes,
longtime Bellator vet. Is there any, obviously you're ready to get in there, you're ready to square off. You're no stranger to that, but like somebody like David Rickles, who has this big name, does it add anything to the equation? Like, is there any, because I'm a huge fan of him. Like, I'm sure you are too, right? You're a huge fan of Dave Rickles, like you said. Is there any added pressure to that? Does it change the game anyway? Is it just he's just another body? When I get in there Saturday, it's just another body trying to take my head off. I got to correct that.
Honestly, it hasn't really changed my mindset as much as I thought it may have. From the time of signing the fight and finding out who would be and everything, I was like, holy crap, I'm fighting David Rickles. This is a big name guy. I've watched this dude on Bellator several times. Now I'm fighting him, and I was kind of worrying about if my mental game would change it on it. And honestly, God hasn't. I'm still looking at it. It's just a fight. It's just another man standing across the cage from me. Yeah, he has a little bit more experience. He's a bigger name. He's more well known. It's his hometown. I'm going to be the bad guy for this one, so that's going to be a different experience for me. But I'm ready to tackle that as well.
To the best of my knowledge, unless it's like underground stuff, this is his first bare knuckle fight, right?
Right.
So all the MMA experience, right? Like he's got all this MMA experience, but it's just not the same, as you can attest to. It's just
right.
What kind of difficulties do you expect him? I mean, of course, you want to try to take advantage of that. I mean, what type of stuff you want to try to exploit? It being his first bare knuckle fight, like what do you think he's going to be thinking coming into this?
Honestly, man, he's a wild man to begin with. So I think this is right up his alley. I don't think he's going to have too much difficulty transitioning over. I think some guys kind of have hesitation of breaking hands and all kinds of stuff because they are seeing what it feels like to actually be hit with the knuckles and get little cuts here and there, and how that's going to react to some people. Some people don't like seeing their own blood. Yep. People react to different things different ways. Him, I don't see it affecting him too terribly badly, if at all. And then with his Muay Thai background, I mean, I think the plum's going to fall right in his game. I think he's going to utilize that or try to utilize that, and I've prepared accordingly. And I think it's just going to be a barn burner. And I think he's going to come ready. I know his cardio is going to be there. I know he's got a chin. I know he's got quick hands. He throws from all angles. He switches stances. He does all the exciting things. He stays in the pocket. So, I mean, I'm just stoked for it, man.
Real quick, I want to grab your predictions if you have any. Maybe you don't. UFC is tonight. It's just actually, main card starts in about 15 minutes. What who you got, man? Romero, Adesanya, Zhang, and Joanna. Who you got?
Oh man, I gotta go with Joanna first of all, and then Yoel. I want to give him the nod, man, because I think he has the better opportunity of catching that one hitter quitter. Because he's just a beast. He can come from any angle with just the one shot and in the night. But I think if it ends in Yoel's favor, it'll be first, early second. If it goes anywhere past that, then Yoel's probably gonna lose a decision. I don't think his cardio is going to be as up to par.
Interesting. I like that because I think Adesanya, I've said, because Adesanya's come from that kickboxing background. He knows if he needs to win the fight by points, he knows exactly how to do it. So, I might have a point there. Romero could take him out early. That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, because he hits like a fucking truck. I mean, I don't know that, but that's what everybody says. He hits like a fucking truck. So, I think that's very plausible, man. But my man, I tell you what, again, my apologies for keep you waiting, my friend. I know you were.
Oh man, that's all.
We appreciate you. You're always welcome on here, man. We appreciate you so much, and good luck against Mr. Dave Man. I combined David and Caveman. Did you see that, Dave Man?
I did, man. I like it.
Man, it's been a long night. Harris Stevenson versus Caveman Rickles. Guys, don't miss it. Next week, BKFC 11. This time next week, he'll probably be out there squaring up with him. Can't wait, man. Fight TV pay-per-view. You guys know what to do. If you're local, check it out. Go to the show. You won't regret it. And my man, like I said, appreciate your time and have a good one, my friend.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me, man. I'll see you next time, brother. See you Saturday.
All right. All right, Mr. Harris, the Sandman, Stevenson, Clark Kent of Bare Knuckles, what I like to call him. I love it. I love it. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for me. Had a couple hiccups earlier in the show, some technical difficulties. I'd love to try to work it out with Sam Shoemaker. Maybe we'll try to do something else. Maybe try something solo a little bit later, maybe tomorrow or later in the week. Hopefully we'll get him. Sorry about that, Mr. Hillbilly Hammer. We definitely want to get you on. Always enjoy talking to you. But guys, that was the show. Can't wait. Super card coming up next Saturday, as always. BKFC's cards, they're good, man. I mean, shit. They really are. I can't speak enough about them. And no, I'm not paid to say that. By the way, where's checks in the mail? I hope. Just kidding. Can't wait. Guys, that's going to do it for us. Please don't forget to check out combatinsiders.com. We are the leader in bare knuckle coverage. I am Joshua Furs. You guys have a good night.